Ahead on NewsWatch, freedom for American pastors, what Donald Trump wants to do to liberate preachers who feel they've been muzzled by the IRS. Plus, Hillary Clinton lays out her economic plan for America. Hear why she says her plan will help families. And one brave German woman issues a clarion call for her nation. Why she won't back down on radical Islam, no matter what the government does to her. Thank you so much for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. Donald Trump is laying out a plan to protect pastors from the IRS. Thursday, he spoke to hundreds of pastors in Orlando. CBN's Jenna Browder was at the American Renewal Project's Pastors and Pews Conference and brings us her exclusive interview with the GOP presidential nominee.
How did it go in there?
I think it really went well. I think the people are fantastic. We had a record crowd of pastors, mostly pastors, and their families, and I think it went amazingly well.
Donald Trump courting Christians on the campaign trail.
So I had a long, beautiful speech written, and I read it. I said, boy, this is boring. This is not what we want to talk about. Because I know a lot of the pastors. I know some of the pastors in the room, and I refuse to put them to sleep, right?
In true Trump style, the Republican presidential nominee spoke off the cuff.
Did you notice I took the teleprompters down, right? I had teleprompters. No, I had a speech written by a professional, and I said, I'm not reading this.
The crux of his speech, repealing the Johnson Amendment.
If I get elected president, one of the early things, one of the absolute first things I'm going to do is work on totally knocking out the Johnson Amendment.
The 1954 amendment was created by then-Senator Lyndon B. Johnson. It limits the free speech of pastors, essentially threatening to take away a church or nonprofit's tax-exempt status for endorsing or opposing a political candidate.
They get absolutely hit with the 501c3, which is the tax-exempt status, which is a tremendous hit. I mean, it's a shattering hit. And it really keeps them silent. Free speech is being taken away from people that are great people, from people that are saying good things, not bad things. And if I can do that, I will have done a great thing for religion as a whole, and it's so important to me.
And Trump knows it's a major selling point to get Christians from the pews to the polls.
The words I said today are so important, and I was honored to get the kind of ovation I got. But they understand, and I think it'll be a tremendous achievement if we can get it done. And I know we'll get it done if we can get elected. That's why I say on November 8th, everybody has to get up and vote. Because 4 years ago, the evangelicals just didn't vote. Christians didn't vote.
Trump is trying to change that by speaking at events like this one and by showing a softer, more humble side.
In your RNC acceptance speech, it was a really endearing moment. You said you thanked the evangelicals for their support, but you said, I don't necessarily always deserve it. Why did you say that?
Well, because I think I'm not perfect, and because I think maybe I'm less perfect than some people, but I have certain abilities that are good, like being able to do things. And I think I'll be able to do things that will be really great for the evangelicals and for others.
His speech it came across as humble. It wasn't a campaign speech.
Donald Trump is not trying to be an evangelical preacher. I think what he's saying is he understands our problems, he understands our concerns, and he's going to be a champion for us.
I know when people don't like me, and that's okay. Either way, I'd prefer the liking, but sometimes it doesn't work out, no matter what you do.
But some are willing to look beyond that.
You know, a lot of Christians believe that you have been chosen for such a time as this. Do you believe that's true? And have you ever considered that maybe this is a divine calling?
Well, you know, I've heard that from others, and I've heard it from pastors. I've heard it from others, and I don't really even want to think about it because it's too big of a burden. But I can say this, that if I can do what I'm saying I can do, and I'm not only talking with the military and building it up and safety and security and, you know, because our country's in such bad shape in so many ways.
Divine calling or not, Trump says he is a friend to Christians.
And religious liberty, you talked about that some. A lot of Christian business leaders are getting attacked, because they don't want to support gay couples or they don't want to provide services. You've said in the past that you would defend these businesses. What would you do to protect these businesses?
Well, you know what I'm going to do? What I'm going to do to protect, and what I'm going to do, I think most importantly, is work on exactly what I talked about today.
They believe so much in religious liberty, as I do, very much. Because without religious liberty, you don't have liberty. Okay, you don't have liberty.
And that's exactly what evangelicals want to hear. But Trump still has work to do. Most of these pastors are on board, but admit he wasn't their first choice.
Some of the things with Donald Trump, not sure exactly what we're going to get. We'll have to see. But with her, with Hillary Clinton, I know what we're going to get, and that just looks bad all across the board.
We can open up the voices of great people, the pastors and the ministers and the priests and the rabbis and people of religion. I think that will be something that I will be so proud of.
This was a move in the right direction for Donald Trump, but of course, only time will tell if it in fact translates in the polls. Reporting in Orlando, Jenna Browder, CBN News.
Hillary Clinton has unveiled her economic plan to create jobs and boost the nation's economy. In a major speech in Detroit, the Democratic presidential nominee said her ideas will help working families, while Donald Trump's will only help millionaires like himself. Our Gary Lane is on this story.
Speaking in Michigan on Thursday, Hillary Clinton unveiled her economic proposals, touting herself as the champion of the middle class. She said only her policies, not those promised by Donald Trump, would bring relief to economically beleaguered Americans. She pledged to start creating jobs on day one of her presidency and give students who earn less than $125,000 free tuition at public colleges and universities. But critics say Mrs. Clinton's plan won't do much for economic growth, at a time when the U.S. under President Obama has experienced the weakest recovery since World War II. And they say her criticism of Trump's plans sounded like the same old class warfare tactics used in past Democrat campaigns. She called Donald Trump's economic plan trickle-down economics and said his tax cut proposals would only benefit the wealthy.
He wants America to work for him and his friends at the expense of everyone else.
But critics also point out Hillary Clinton has received millions more from Wall Street than Donald Trump. So far this year, hedge fund investors and their employees have reportedly contributed $48 million to Clinton and only $19,000 to Trump. The former Secretary of State has also gained personally, receiving $21 million in speaking fees from Wall Street firms. Mrs. Clinton also bashed Trump's manufacturing practices.
He's made Trump ties in China and Trump suits in Mexico instead of here in Michigan. He keeps saying it's not possible to make these things in America anymore, and that's just wrong.
She repeated her opposition to the Trans-Pacific Partnership trade deal. Campaigning in Florida, Trump again promised a massive cut in taxes and government regulations. He pledged to boost spending on national roads and bridges and said he would allow families to deduct their full child care expenses from their federal taxes. But Trump's comments on foreign policy and Islamic terrorism got the most attention.
I call President Obama and Hillary Clinton the founders of ISIS. They're the founders.
Liberal pundits responded with outrage, and Trump was even challenged by conservatives, like radio host Hugh Hewitt, who came to the defense of President Obama.
He's not sympathetic to them. He hates them. He's trying to kill them.
He was the founder.
Trump explained what he meant by calling the president the founder of ISIS.
He is the founder in a true sense. If he would have stayed, I didn't want to be there, but if he would have kept a relatively small force, he probably could have prevented ISIS from forming, okay? And now you look at what's going on with ISIS, where they're spreading.
Gary Lane, CBN News.
A California state senator says he will amend a bill that would have forced Christian colleges to give up their beliefs on sexual orientation and gender identity. They'd have to face that choice or risk losing state financial aid for low-income students who want to attend their schools. The Los Angeles Times reports the bill's sponsor is dropping that provision that would have removed a religious exemption for faith-based schools. But the controversy may not be over, as he is expected to come back with a more comprehensive bill in the legislature's next session. Want to turn now to the Olympics. Simone Manuel made history last night, becoming the first African-American woman to win the gold in swimming. The Texas native tied for the first place finish in the women's 100 freestyle. The 19-year-old said all the glory belongs to God and that she feels so blessed to win. Manuel also won a silver medal as part of the women's 4x100-meter relay team. U.S. swimmer Michael Phelps won another gold last night in the 200-meter individual medley. He is now the winner of 22 gold medals in 4 separate Olympics. Even though he's the most decorated U.S. Olympian of all time, Phelps recently revealed he suffered from an identity crisis and had thoughts of suicide back in 2014. But his friend, Christian NFL star Ray Lewis, stepped in with words of encouragement and sent him Rick Warren's book, The Purpose-Driven Life. Phelps says it showed him there was a power greater than himself and a purpose for him on this planet. You can find out what Rick Warren had to say about Phelps' turnaround at CBNNews.com. And it's been another golden Olympics for the U.S. women's gymnastics. Last night, Simone Biles won gold in the individual all-around finals, and Allie Reisman delivered a remarkable comeback to win the silver. Earlier this week, the U.S. women's team won the gold in the team all-around competition. Meanwhile, one former gymnast has spoken out about her past Olympics and her Christian faith. At just 16, Shawn Johnson was considered an Olympic prodigy and unrivaled gymnast. The world expected her to take home 4 gold medals at the 2008 Olympics in Beijing, but she fell short, taking home 2 silver medals and a single gold.
I felt like I had failed the world. I felt like since the world saw me as nothing else, then if I failed at being a gymnast, I failed at being a human being.
Johnson vowed to do better and train hard for the Olympics in 2012, but she let it all go when God told her to seek him as the answer.
God is the answer to everything. And Jesus sacrificed his life on the cross so that when I stood up there and I was given that gold medal, yes, it's a monumental and amazing experience and wonderful thing, but it's not the end-all be-all. Yes, I can work my whole life to become the CEO of a company or to make a certain amount of money or to win 12 more Olympic gold medals, but it's not the purpose in life. And he will always be my greatest reward and my proudest reward.
Johnson's testimony you saw there was part of the Christian web series I Am Second. You can find out more about her story and I Am Second at CBNNews.com. Coming up, she warned her country about radical Islam and was thanked by getting charged with hate speech. Why she believes Germany is heading for a dark future. The story's coming up next. More than 30 Christian and conservative leaders are urging the media to cover the genocide against Christians in the Middle East. In a letter from the Media Research Center, they noted Islamic terrorists have tortured, beheaded, crucified, or burned alive priests, nuns, and worshipers alike. And a recent study from the Media Research Center showed a major lack of coverage from major networks like ABC, NBC, and CBS. It shows they used the word genocide only 6 times out of the underwhelming 60 references to Christian persecution over the last 2 years. German Chancellor Angela Merkel famously told Germans their country can handle millions of refugees, but the reality has proven to be very different, and one voice is warning of a dark future. Dale Hurd brings us the story now from Germany.
5 attacks in 2 weeks, most with some connection to immigration, and more attacks on the horizon. It has a lot of Germans wondering what Angela Merkel, with her open-door refugee policy, has done to Germany.
It's not safe, not more in Germany.
Is it really more danger or not? But it feels more danger.
I'm a little bit afraid because the terror comes nearer to us. Ich habe schon ein bisschen Angst.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some say Angela Merkel's political fate was sealed when she threw open Germany's doors to more than 1 million migrants and told the German people that we can do this. And now the approval rating for the woman who was once one of the most popular chancellors in post-war Germany has collapsed. Terrorism has now become a part of life in a nation that used to see very little. Almost daily, terror attacks across Western Europe have an entire continent on edge. This is what happened in the Balkan nation of Kosovo last week when someone shouted ISIS as a joke, a stampede that injured 40 people. A lot of Germans warned that Merkel was bringing disaster with her refugee policy, including the woman who awoke a lot of Germans to the threat of Islam, Heidi Mundt, also known as the brave German woman. This video of Heidi interrupting the call to prayer by a Muslim imam in a German cathedral went viral on the internet. Now, after the flood of mostly Muslim refugees into Germany, Heidi Mundt says she believes some German leaders want to destroy the nation.
I'm really convinced that there are bad people of darkness who want to destroy us. They are servants of the devil. They are sick in their opinion, and they don't care if it will cost lives or not, it will be bloody or not, you know. They want to destroy, they want to take over.
And before the terrorism that hit Germany, before the New Year's Eve sex attacks in Cologne and other cities, Heidi says God spoke to her about Germany's future.
Yes, God gave me a vision over the border of Germany and Europe, and he gave it to me 2 times in the last years, and I saw a human prayer chain standing around Germany and praying for Germany and for Europe. I spoke out a warning first to my brothers and sisters in Christ that we have to pray against this raping which would come up. I told them that we would face danger, and especially our children, our girls, our women.
She sent the warning to her followers on Facebook, and because of that, Mundt was reported and investigated by the local prosecutor for hate speech. Then what she warned of came true. Germany is now in the grips of what some are calling a rape epidemic. The hate speech investigation against Heidi has been dropped.
It was not hate speech, and I don't have hatred in my heart. No, I love my people, and I also love those people who are coming in. I wanted to open the eyes of the people that they could understand what's going on.
Heidi Mundt feels she knows Angela Merkel because both grew up under communism in the former East Germany. Merkel was the daughter of a Protestant pastor, but Heidi Mundt has harsh words for Germany's chancellor.
Who is Merkel? I'm sorry, who is she? I have been a communist. I know who she is. For me, she's a wolf. And people think she's a Christian. She would not destroy her country. She would not destroy the people here. And she is doing it right now.
Germany is still under the control of political correctness that casts opponents of immigration as Nazis and racists. The third largest political party in Germany now is the right-wing Alternative for Germany. One of its leaders is Bjorn Höcke.
I only know that Chancellor Angela Merkel is throwing our country into disaster, and with us, also Europe.
Höcke says he still considers Germany a Christian nation because of its Christian foundation. And he said Germany cannot integrate millions of Muslims because Islam is a religion that is stuck in the Middle Ages. But the growing popularity of Alternative for Germany does not mean the nation is close to a turnaround. Merkel has doubled down on her refugee program, attacking opponents. Heidi Mundt believes the future for Germany is chaos and war. But she would not say it is too late.
The question, is it too late? I will tell you when it's too late. It's too late when God has given us up. Then it's too late.
Dale Hurd, CBN News, reporting from Germany.
Up next, we've got your family-friendly movie reviews for the weekend. Hear why Pete's Dragon and Florence Foster Jenkins could be worth checking out. The weekend is here, and you may be thinking about heading to the movies. For some family-friendly reviews, we turn now to Bob Waliszewski with PluggedIn.com. That is the internet review department at Focus on the Family. So, Bob, we've got the new version of Pete's Dragon hitting theaters. What do you think?
Well, I'll start by saying I liked it quite a little bit. Young Pete is in the back of his car with his parents traveling when they have a fatal car wreck. Leaves Pete stranded out in the woods and looks like he's about to be attacked by some wolves when some kind of shadowy, mysterious character being steps in. He's with a pet dragon, of all things, kind of a puppy-like pal. Meanwhile, Robert Redford's character has been telling people for years that he saw a dragon years ago. Even told his daughter Gracie, who was a forest ranger. Of course, she doesn't believe any of it. However, when Gracie, the forest ranger, encounters Pete out in the woods and Pete has a similar story to tell, maybe her dad's been telling the truth all these years. Lots of good family messages, a lot of good messages on friendship. So a 4.5 for 5. Entertainment-wise, I like this film.
Very nice, 4.5. So now there's also a movie based on the story of Florence Foster Jenkins. Tell us about that one.
Meryl Streep and Hugh Grant are in it, and Florence Foster Jenkins was actually a historical person. She lived. She died in 1944. She was a wealthy socialite in New York, generous to a fault, was really liked to support music things and the arts, and but she also liked to sing. The problem was she couldn't sing. She was flat almost all the time, and when she tried to hit the high notes, it sounded like somebody pulling a tail on a cat in some kind of squeak. But one day, Florence on her own booked Carnegie Hall. We gave this one a 3 out of 5 for family friendliness. I really like the Florence character. However, her husband is a bit more complicated because he has a mistress on the side, a little bit of language, a little bit of partying without consequences. We gave this an On the Bubble 3. Quirky little film about a quirky little person, and in many ways I like this one. Just wasn't a perfect film.
I like what I've seen about it as well. Can't wait to see it. Thank you, Bob.
You bet. Talk next week.
Time now for your Friday Faithful. Remember this, there is no power greater than God, and that power rests in you, upon you, and over you. With that word, there is no reason for you to fear anything or anyone. Be sure to make this a fabulous Friday. That is going to do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. Remember, you can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com. We'd love to hear what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can do it on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We'll see you right back here come Monday. Have a fabulous Friday and a wonderful weekend.